Protest groups such as Just Stop Oil may be forced to pay compensation to people whose lives they illegally disrupt under plans in a new government-commissioned review. Well, individuals, businesses or institutions that could show that they endured loss, distress or suffering from an illegal protest would, under this scheme, be entitled to court-ordered compensation from activists. Well, I'm now joined by Grahame, who's a spokesperson for Just Stop Oil and a former principal scientist at Shell. Welcome to the show, Grahame. So this report is by Lord Walney. He's the government's advisor on extremism and terrorism. And he quite simply says the buck should stop with Just Stop Oil. Do you think he's got a point?
Can I just refer back to the previous article you had on affected blood products? It's interesting what the campaigners said after 40 years. Nothing to see here. Nobody held accountable. Terrible tragedies could be avoided. That's pretty much the position that we're in now in the middle of a climate crisis, isn't it?
Yeah, some might find that comparison distasteful, Grahame, but can we just please move on to the current report? So quite clearly, he is saying if people can demonstrate business has been affected, and many no doubt could. The cost of the London economy was £4.5 million alone from Just Stop Oil's protests in the spring and summer of 2023. Should you lot pay for the protests?
Look, let's just start from a position that John Woodcock, the Lord now, he is not an independent advisor. In fact, it's entirely dishonest to suppose that. He's a paid advisor for a number of groups, some of which are supported in part by the oil and gas industry. He's the chair of an arms coalition that supplies arms to Israel. He is not independent, and it's disgraceful and it's almost overreach that he makes.
Instead of shooting the messenger, can we address the message? Let's try and stay on point. If your protests are costing the economy and individuals and businesses provable sums of money, should you pay for that?
No. You want the short answer? Look, we are rightly proud of our freedoms in this country. Non-violent civil resistance, including disruption, is a bedrock of our democracy. It's recognised in international law. Do we want to be like Russia or the United Arab Emirates, where they lock people up and throw them out of hotel windows for non-violent civil resistance? That we have a statue of Mrs. Pankhurst outside Parliament. She engaged in non-violent civil resistance.
Yeah, but the working classes also have a democratic right to be able to get to work and to do a day's graft. And isn't that the point? You know, your albeit well-meaning protest might seem like a good idea to you at the time, but if it's stopping working class people, as we saw repeatedly, it was delivery drivers, it was taxi drivers, it was the working poor who were affected, no doubt lots of them on minimum wage or 0-hour contracts, getting caught in the crossfire of your protest. They are being financially harmed. Should you pay them?
Look, Martin, I deeply regret that the actions we took were necessary. I deeply regret that, and I completely understand that people would have been upset and annoyed about what we did. Now, if the government took the climate crisis seriously, as they didn't take for example, the tainted blood seriously, if the government took that seriously, then we wouldn't need to be here. I mean, and you might ask, saying that we should be sued. Who will you sue when our homes are flooded and our homes are uninsurable? Remember that last year in Chesterfield, there was a lady there who said that her home was uninsurable, and she said that the government had failed to support her, that she felt let down by the government.
Grahame, who should people sue if they lose their jobs because they can't do a delivery and Just Stop Oil stop them doing that? Should they sue you?
There are already plenty of perfectly reasonable resources and recourses that they can take. Look at skyrocketing food prices. Who do you sue for that? Who are you going to sue for the grass fires that burn down people's homes? Who do you sue for children who get tropical diseases? Who do you sue?
We're going to have to leave it there. Spokesperson for Just Stop Oil, I don't think you answered the question, but I appreciate your passion and your candour, and thanks for joining us.